What is going on, guys? I'm Fabio, and on this channel I help you become a better programmer, so subscribe if you're interested. In this video I'm going to show you how to easily create charts using ChartJS. You'll learn how to change the way data is displayed and even how to add data to the chart dynamically. Of course, this is just a quick introduction because there are a lot of things that you can do with it. By the way, you can support the channel and also get the source code of my videos using the link down in the description. Down below you can also find other interesting things like links to join amazing learning platforms to improve your skills and a lot more. So go and check them out, and thank you for the support. Okay, so this is the basic HTML, right? I've linked the main.css file and this is what's in it. Then here I've got the main container with this title and this container here that is the container where we're going to place our chart in. So first of all, we need to import ChartJS because ChartJS is a separate package that you need to import. So we're going to go to the installation here. As you can see, you can use npm to install it, and if you're using a project or whatever, you can just use this. But since here we're not inside a node project, we're going to need to use the CDN, or you can download it and then use the local file. In this case, I'm just going to use this. Okay, so you can go here. All right. And here, as you can see, you've got this thing here. Of course, you've got different things you can do. You can download the latest major, then different versions, etc. I always recommend that you use something with the version in the link, like this, 444. Why? Because maybe they will upgrade to version 5 or 6 or 7 or whatever. And if you use something like this, for example, something like this, for example, as you can see, you don't have the version yet, right? So this will always download the latest version, but let's say that they made some breaking changes, then your application will break, right? So if you don't want that to happen, you can just go here and just download the version 4.4.4. And of course, in your website, if you want to upgrade it, you just need to change this, and then you'll see if there are breaking changes, or you're just gonna leave this version and you're not gonna have any problems. Okay, so let's actually copy this, right? And we're gonna place it here, like that, with the file. So you've got the script tag like this. Perfect. Of course, this needs to be above this, because instead of here, we're gonna write things that are contained in the package, and you want this to be loaded before the script, our script. Okay, so now that we've got the package installed, let's go back here. We can actually create here an element, which is the canvas, where the chart is going to be drawn. Okay, so canvas, and we're going to give it the ID my chart. Okay, like that. So now we've got everything we need to have to start using ChartJS. So we are going to go down here to the script, right? I've decided to use the script tag here, but you could have a separate file, a JS file, but I'm just gonna have it here for the sake of simplicity. So as I said here, this is going to be the context of a chart, and we can create a chart by doing this. So first of all, I'm gonna get the context, which is that element that I've already shown you. So query selector, and then my chart like that. Then I'm going to create the chart, and I'm going to call it my chart, then new chart, like that. And then inside here, the first argument is going to be the context, which is the canvas here. Okay. Then we have an object, and inside of that object, you can set a few things. So first of all, I'm going to set the type line. This could be whatever, and then I'm going to show you later on what this means. Then of course, here we need some data, right? Otherwise, we're not going to see anything, because as you can see, if I save that, you don't see anything because you don't have data, right? And also, I'll show you how to use options to change the way the chart is displayed. But first of all, let's create some data. So I'm going to do that up here. So let's do this. I'm going to do something like const data is equal to an object. I'm going to add it down here, data. I don't need to do something like data because this is the same name, so you can just have data. But if you have something else, you need to do something like that. Okay, so here if I had something, you need to specify it, but in this case just data is enough, like that. So as I said, the data is an object, and inside that object we are going to add this. By the way, there are different ways of creating the data. So first of all, I'm going to start with arrays, and then I'm going to show you another way to do that. So first of all, I'm going to create the labels like this. So labels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. Then data set like this. This is an array, and then inside that array you will have a list of objects depending on the number of charts that you want in the same chart, right? So first of all, let's start with just one, which is another data and then another array. I'm gonna explain all of this in a second. Just a few numbers like that, all right? And then label is going to be, I don't know, value. And of course here is data sets, okay? This is really important. So data sets. Then let's save it and see what we get. All right, already, this is already quite nice, right? So we've got this, and whatever. So the labels here, so this array here are the labels here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the data, of course, is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? Value is what you see here, and you can click it like that, and you can disable it and whatever. And of course, as I said earlier, here you can change the type of chart. So you can have bar. So as you can see, you've got the bar, then you've got donut, and then you've got also bubble and whatever. But I'm just gonna leave line because I'm just gonna show you with this, but you know that you've got also the others. Okay, so this is the first way to actually do that. The other way is something like this. So let's actually do this quickly to show you. I'm just gonna comment that out. Okay, so the other way is this. So you need to remove these labels and then do everything inside of here. So the data is not going to be a list of values, it's going to be an array of objects, so X, and then the label needs to be a string, then Y, which is the value, and then again another object, X2, Y is going to be 284, and we'll see what you get. As you can see, you get the same exact thing, just two objects, but that's fine just to show you. So in this case, you've got an array of objects, as you can see, with the X being the value of the label here, and the Y being the value of the actual point. And this could be used also for dates. So the X could be a date, for example, and then you'll see the dates down here. But I'm gonna make another video about that because there are quite a few things to know if you want to use dates in the X-axis. When the video is out, you'll find the link in the description down below. Okay, so let's actually delete this. We're not gonna need that. I'm actually just going to comment that out and use this one instead. Okay, like that. So now that we've got this, let's actually save that and go back to this. We can actually add options to change a few things here. So down here, I'm gonna do something like this, options, and then up here, I'm actually going to do that here, options. This is an object as well, and we are going to add a few options. Of course, there are a lot, so I'm gonna just show you the ones that I think are going to be more useful for you, at least at the beginning. By the way, don't forget that in the description box down below you can find the link to get the source code of my videos and also links to join really cool learning platforms to take your skills to the next level and a lot more. So go and check them out, and thank you so much for your support. So first of all, we're going to add animation like that, and this is set to true by default. As you can see, when I save the file and change something, you can see this animation, and this animation is also shown when you add values, etc., and we're going to see that as well in a minute. If you set this to false, as you can see, when you save it, you don't see anything, you just don't see that animation. And same thing when you do something like this with animation true, you're gonna see something different, as you can see, like that. Then another really important thing is the maintain aspect ratio, like this, and this is true by default. And I'm going to show you one thing. So if you go here and you change this to 20, as you can see, the aspect ratio is maintained, which means that if I change the width or the height, you get still this rectangle, right? So if I do something like 900 pixels, you don't get anything, all right? You need to increase the width and you see the rectangle. But if I set this to false, then you can do whatever you want. So you can increase the height like that, you can decrease it like that, you can increase this. As you can see, you can do whatever you want to do, which is the best thing, right? So I'm gonna just leave this false. Then another really important thing is the scales. Okay, scales is an object and then x, the x-axis, and I'm going to actually change the title. So title, right there. Okay, and I'm going to do something like display true, then the text x-axis, font size 14, like that. And as you can see, you get this here. If you change the size, you get this different, etc., etc. You can do a lot of things, and I'm going to do that to the y-axis. So add the comma there, and the y-axis is going to be like this, y, and that's it. So as you can see, y-axis there. Then really cool, as you can see, if you want to see the tooltip, I need to hover over the point, right over it, like that. I don't want to have to do this to actually see that. I want to just be near and see that. So you can do that down here. So outside scales, as you can see, down here, down here, like that. And here I'm going to add plugins, and then tooltip intersect false. Okay, so now as you can see, I just need to be close to the point to actually see the tooltip. This is so much better in my opinion. And also another thing that you can do is change the points, the line, etc., etc. So let's do that. So under plugins here, I'm going to do something like elements actually, point, and then border width 5. As you can see, the points are bigger. I can also do 10 or whatever. So in this case, 5 is fine in my opinion. And then you can also change the color. But if you change the color, then you have to specify, because as soon as you change one color, you need to change all the others, because the others are sort of disabled by default, something like that. So I've noticed that if I change something like, I don't know, like red, for example, as you can see, you get red, but at the same time, the line is not blue anymore. It's not like that light blue anymore, as you can see. And this is just the border. As you can see here, you just have the border, but you can just do something like background color red, and just leave this, maybe delete that. As you can see, you just have in the middle and not the border, etc., etc. So you can do whatever you want. But then, as I said, if you change the color of one thing, you need to do that for the line as well. So you just need to add a line here. For example, you can do border width here as well. You can change the border width and then the color. But I'm not actually going to change that. I'm just going to remove that or comment that out and go back to this. Okay, so border width there. And also you've got a cool thing, which is tension, which is something that is going to be really cool, because as you can see, it sort of creates these curves here. If you set this to 1, is maybe too much, even 2 like that. I don't think that is a good idea, but do what makes you happy. So I'm just going to leave this to 0.4. I think this is quite nice. Okay, it just depends on how many points you have, etc, etc. So of course this is just the tip of the iceberg. You can do a lot more and you can find everything in the documentation. So you can go here, I don't know, something like configuration, animation, elements, for example, elements. As you can see, radius, rotation, border color, border width. You've got a lot of things. So just experiment with all of these things. These are the things that I think could be more useful, especially at the beginning, but you still have a lot of things you can do. Okay, so now let's see how we can actually add values, okay? Because now you've got just those values that you have here, but there is no way to add them. You just need to change here manually, right? So first of all, let's create up here like that, a button, okay? And we're gonna give it the ID add value btn, and then here add value like that. Perfect. And of course down below everything, so down here we are going to get that value, that element, usual query selector, our friend, and then add value btn like that. Perfect. And then we're gonna add an event listener for the click. Okay, we want to click and actually add something. Then our function. So since we have this object here, my chart up here, we can access all of these things. So the data, the data set, the labels, you can access whatever you want. So we can do something like this. When we click the button, we want to get the my chart, then data, then labels. Okay, so basically we are getting this thing here. Okay, and then we're gonna push a new element +1. Why +1? Because of course these are 5 labels, and then we want the 6, the 7, the 8, the 9, etc. So the length, we get the length +1, and we add the number as the label, and then we're gonna get a random number using the math random, and then we're gonna do something like times 1000 + 1. Like that, just a quick function to create random numbers from, I guess, 10 to 1000. And the +1, I don't think the +1 is needed actually, because the +1 is needed when you've got times 100 to get numbers from 1 to 100. But let's just leave it there. It's not important in this case. And then down here we're going to add that to my chart data sets 0, the first one, because as you can see up here the data sets is an array, and then this is the first element. Okay, that's why I'm using 0, then data, then push random number like that, and then really important, you need to use update like that. So now let's see how cool this is. So add random value, maybe it doesn't work, let's see. All right, as you can see, this is pretty cool. And let's imagine that here you've got something, let's say you get something from a database or something live, and then you update the chart with its value, and you're gonna see something live like this. This is pretty cool, pretty cool. And let's set this to false, so you're gonna see what I mean. As you can see, you don't get the animation, so the animation is pretty cool. You need that, of course. Okay, so down here you can use something like this. So you can change the type of the chart, and you can set this to, for example, bar, and you get something like this. Or you can set this to doughnut, you get something like this. And if you add a value, this works the same. And also bubble, like that. Different things, you can do a lot of things. And why am I showing you this? Of course, because you can do that, but also because we can actually add more than one chart here. So instead of having just one line, for example, you can have more than one line. So we can try to do this up here. So in the data set, as I've said earlier, here you've got one, but you can have more than one. So here you can do something like this, data. Okay, let's change the data and do something completely different. Just random like that, perfect. And then the value is going to be value 2. Okay, as you can see, you've got two charts, and also you can even have a completely different type of chart. So here you can have this like that. Okay, value 3, but you can specify the type. Type is going to be bar. As you can see, you've got 1, 2, 3. So you can do whatever you want to do with this, and this is pretty cool. This is already enough to create basic charts, and then you can improve them even more. Okay, so don't forget that you can support the channel and also get the source code of my videos using the link down in the description. Down below you can also find other interesting things like links to join amazing learning platforms to improve your skills and a lot more. Like the video if it was helpful, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.